G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckwell, Marks Point. Well, this Friday's fishing report, have a look at it. Blue sky, ocean behind me, and you can actually see just how clear the water is coastally at the moment. A very, very slight nor'wester this afternoon, and tomorrow it's going to drift around to nor'west. Absolutely perfect. We haven't got a lot of swell, and the ocean tomorrow is going to be perfect. Of course, this weekend we've got the northern zone overnight or offshore for our game fishermen, and the water on the shelf looks fantastic. There's been a bit of a shift in what's happening on the shelf at the moment, out past the canyon, current running back uphill off the back of an upwelling that's a little bit further out, about 70 mile out. It's going to make things totally interesting. It's going to change everything around. There's some real calm spots out there, so I think that definitely yellowfin dolphin fishing, of course, been a few blue marlin and striped marlin around at this time of the year, so it looks perfect, and a lot of guys will fish indeed overnight and fish for, maybe swords and of course sharks and alike during that night. Full moon on Saturday night. Some great tides this weekend, guys. 8:30 tomorrow morning high tide, around about 20 past 2 low tide. So we get 2 tide changes tomorrow as well, but it is picture perfect. We've got a bit of wind and some swell coming Monday, Tuesday, and I think that the fishing this weekend will really accelerate prior to the change, and next weekend after the change should be very interesting indeed. The Fad, got some reports on there. Plenty of dolphin fish right the way along that farm area, so the Fad's working well, Swansea Fat in particular. If you're able to get a few live baits, you'll pick up those bigger dolphin fish, some nice snapper and kings, of course, in on these deep reefs. Certainly down towards Texas is starting to get itself together, but it's the inshore scene that is really worth a look. A lot of snapper and trag around at the moment, and some nice mulloway, and of course that full moon will be perfect for this inshore fishing. Been a lot of flathead, but we've seen a real mixture of fish on these inshore reefs. Trevally, brim of course, because there's a lot of coastal brim around at the moment, and even tarwine in particular up towards that Redhead Dudley area, fishing with prawns. But burley is the key, and just getting that nice burley trail out, and that tide tomorrow morning will be perfect. On the beaches, there's been a lot of tailor, been some big hauls of mullet happening up and down the coast. There's a big haul Tuesday on Blacksmiths Beach in particular, but again, mulloway with this moon on Saturday night will be perfect. So a lot of mulloway, but a lot of big tailor, and those big tailor have been right up through from Belmont, back up the back of the golf course and along, and of course Stockton no different. There's a very, very good range of fish up there. Few brim, mixed doing them guys, the odd whiting of course, flathead, which we would expect, but the concentration level will get onto those tailor and mulloway. But there have been also some reports of a few salmon now getting in on these beaches, so we're starting to see autumn kick in, that is for sure. Rock fishermen, look, just take care. As I say, there's a little bit of a bump this morning, not much, but that tide tomorrow morning will be perfect for those guys that want to get onto those ocean rock platforms for tailor, because there's been a lot of reports of tailor off these rock areas, few kings, and of course ludric and brim for our rock fishermen, so a really good range. The estuary itself has really picked up this week, and we've seen a real resurgence in flathead fishing. And my good mate Steve Norris had a fish yesterday. I was due to go with him, it couldn't quite make it. 5 fish over 70 tagged and released, and a number of other fish mixed in there. So some very good flathead to be caught in on these bait schools. But we're also starting to see quite a few inshore snapper in the lake and fish above that 50 centimetre size, which is fantastic to see. But we've got a real range of fish on these bait schools. A lot of tailor, some tailor up to 2 kilo, and some just legal. But there's a real range of fish, but a lot of mulloway, and of course everyone will be fishing certainly tonight and tomorrow with that moon. It'll just be like daylight out there on the lake. Still some really good kings, and still reports of quite a few squid, not only in the lake, but there's quite a few squid getting caught coastally as well. So this clear water is going to really benefit any offshore squid guys, but the lake is going very, very well for our lake squid. And it is getting late, but there's still enough out there, and of course for these mulloway to there, it'll be perfect. Some big brim. This tide tomorrow morning, this 8:30 tide, will be perfect down along the back of the flats and the back of the islands in particular for bream. But of course, Swansea Channel areas like Salts Bay are perfect on that tide. And again, that run out tide tomorrow afternoon, you'll get that change of tide around about 5:30. So it's a perfect tide to fish the channel for bream in particular. Guys, this is the weekend we've been waiting for. We've had a few duds of late. This is the one. If you're not fishing this weekend, guys, you're not having a serious go, let's get out there. Let's have a fish. We'll be out there tomorrow. I'm heading out to the briny with Luke, and out there we'll have a bit of a look and see what's going on. It's going to be a popular place. See you next Friday. Keep them reports coming.